All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a fun, amazing weekend, safe weekend. I should add that in there too. I just got a couple of things I want to announce and then turn you loose. And of course, people that have questions or want to work the material or whatever, just like always, hang back and we'll get you squared away. So in front of you, this is what is on your plate for the week, 2.1. So this is getting into, there's different forms of every quadratic. So a quadratic is something like x squared plus 2x plus 7 or whatever, right? Anything that has an x squared in it, that's a quadratic. I should be more specific. Anything that has the highest degree of x squared is a quadratic. There's different forms you can write these in. You can write them in standard form, vertex form. All these different forms have, different, point slope form, all these different things, different information that you can pull from it. So vertex form is telling you exactly that, the vertex. So if I have a quadratic that's in vertex form, I can just look at it without doing any math, any calculation, any moving, any adjusting of the problem. I can tell you exactly where the vertex is at. So the vertex of a parabola, right, it's either a happy face or a frowny face. The vertex is that bottom point of a happy face, right? The part where it comes down and bounces back up. That bottom portion is the vertex. Or if it's a frowny face, then it comes up and then it tops out. That tops out part, that part of the very top, that's the vertex. So that's what this lesson's all about, focusing on vertex form of quadratics. Let me just run through this real quick. Like always, you have the interactive textbook and the practice problems. These two tabs will just tell you what pages we're on, where you can access the material, which practice problems we're doing, what pages they're on, all that kind of stuff. I don't remember if I announced this last week, so I'm just announcing it yesterday and today, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Extra practice. If you are one of those people that are in any lesson and you're like, man, I'm still not getting it, right? I kind of got an idea of it. I just need to practice it more, but I don't want to obviously do the problems that I just did because I already know the answers. Here's a couple options for you. One of them is to go inside of Envision. So Envision each week will always have, I'm guessing, somewhere between like 4 and 7 assignments loaded against you. Remember, those are not assignments that you're completing and turning in. Those are just optional assignments. So if you're struggling with the material, you just need a little more practice, or say it's test week and you're like, man, I need to go back and practice this stuff. You can go to Envision and you can access any of those assignments. And don't forget, the ones in Envision will actually tell you the answer. So when you put in the answer and click submit or next or whatever, it'll tell you if it's right or wrong and what the correct answer is. That way it gives you a little bit of feedback. So that's an awesome option. The other option is the other sections in the back of each lesson. So for example, pages 77 through 79, that's 2.1. That's all the problems of 2.1. What you'll notice each week is we're doing the practice column. So it's a column of problems, and at the top it says practice. Those are the ones I'm asking you to do each week. Well, there's other columns. There's one called Do You Understand? Do You Know How? Understand, Apply, Assessment Practice, right? These are all different problems that you could do. The apply is going to be more the difficult problems. I would say that if you're just trying to get more practice, you can try the understand, basically any of these three right there. They should be good. Again, the apply is going to be pretty difficult. The assessment practice should be pretty not easy, but it should be doable. The application problems are more difficult though, typically. So if you're reviewing for a test, if you need more practice, whatever, that's just an option that's available to you. The next two things are the two things that are due each week. Check in, that's old news, right? I don't even have to mention that. Everybody knows what's going on there. But if you'll notice, we got something new. I've talked to a few people about this, especially at conferences, and we essentially decided to get away from the essential question because there was so much copying and pasting. I noticed when I was grading on Monday, there was so much copying and pasting that like almost every time I clicked next to grade the next problem, it was the exact same words. And on top of that, the vocab words and stuff were still bolded. Those people that were cheating and just copying and pasting couldn't even unbold the words that were bolded. So, I mean, it was painfully obvious that people are just copying and pasting. I guess that's my fault. I should have emphasized from the beginning. I would love that essential question to be rephrased in your own words, which a lot of people have done. I appreciate that, but I was seeing more and more copying and pasting. So we move to something else. We're calling this vocabulary and concepts. This vocab and concepts assignment is going to be very similar to the check-in, right? Both of these things are still going to be due by Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. You can't turn in late work, right? Just like before. But this vocab and concepts thing is going to be very similar to the format of a check-in, very similar to the format of a quiz where you go in, it's got a question, you're choosing A, B, C, or D, or whatever, you're inputting the answer, and then it'll go that route, very similar to a check-in. This vocabulary and concepts is just focusing on those two things. It's not going to ask you a question like out of the practice section. It's not going to ask you to calculate X. Vocab and concepts are going to ask you questions that specifically deal with the vocab from the lesson and the overall concept from the lesson. So obviously this concept is the vertex form of a quadratic function. So it's going to ask you about, maybe it'll be something like, hey, what's the benefit of the vertex form of a quadratic function, right? That could be an awesome question that could be on that. So it's nothing you're calculating. You're not actually doing any like numbers math, right? And calculating things. It's just all about vocab and concepts. So again, those two things due Sunday night at 11:59 p.m., no late work. The solutions manual, like always, this is all the answers to all the problems in the entire lesson. Not just the answers, but the steps to get to the answers. So make sure you're using that. And then my video tutorial of the lesson. Any questions on that? That was pretty much my two things I had on my plate to show you this week. The two things that are due on Sunday night, and then this new one called vocab and concepts. So I will stop sharing, let the people that are late in pause for people to ask questions. Nothing, no questions. All makes sense? Okay. If you do have questions, you want to work through something, hang back. Everybody else, we'll see you Thursday. Have an awesome day.
Hey, Mr. Chapman.
Hey.
So I was gonna email you this, but I looked on Skyward, and I don't know if I like have to remind you or not have to remind you, but like because like
sometimes you have to remind me, so that's okay.
Because this happened with my STEM physics teacher last year, where assignment was graded on Canvas, but it wasn't updated on Skyward, and she said, "Oh, you have to remind me." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So
is it a late assignment?
They were late assignments, and then also.
Yeah, but Chris, you can't do late work, right? Everything's due by Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. So even if you do it late, it won't get transferred into Skyward.
They were extended due to.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yep. So can you send me an email though? And
yes.
I'm going to look back in my email, but actually don't send me an email. I don't want to make more work for you. Let me look back in my email and I'll take a look at that and I'll get that updated as soon as we hang up.
Yeah, and then also I wasn't able to do the essential question because it was locked, and I thought that was going to be extended along with my 1.6 quiz. I didn't know that it wasn't going to be, or else I would have.
No worries. So it was the 1.6 stuff?
And 1.5 check-in.
1.6 and 1.5. Okay. I will take care of that and I'll send you an email after I'm done.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Okay, Chris. Thanks, buddy.
Have a good evening.
See you, man. You too.